Attention, everybody. The views and opinions expressed on the show are not necessarily those of Acts Ministry, Acts Media Group, and or their affiliate and subordinate ministries and or nonprofits. Today's title, We Destroy and He Rebuilds. He being Jesus, of course. It's a conversation Jay and I had on the way to work. Good morning. Coming to you live from Acts Media Group headquarters here in beautiful Springfield, Missouri. It's the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay with your hosts, Matt and Jay. A little distortion there, huh? Can you hear that? Distortion?
No, I'm not hearing distortion.
Oh, must be because my headphones are so up. Anyways, we got some special people, and I do mean special, in the studio with us today. We've got Megan Herrera from the Rainbow Network, as well as my son Tanner. Last minute decided to come by and be on the show with us today. So I usually wait for the hook of the song before I zoom it out. All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay. My name is Matt.
My name is Jay.
My name is Megan.
My name is Tanner.
We're glad to have everybody on board with us today. So thank you for joining us today, Megan. I couldn't remember if we decided Monday or Tuesday, but it's Monday, and you were here at quarter till, right whenever I asked you to be, and you are the executive director of Rainbow Network.
Correct.
Which is, and the website is rainbownetwork.org, specifically .org. If you use any other variation of that, you'll get something else.
Rainbownetwork.org.
O-R-G. So,
excellent.
Yes.
So we're glad to have you here.
Great to be here.
You didn't have headphones on the last time you were here. You were here Friday.
I was.
With Johnny Rooster, and you just had a microphone in front of you, and you guys just sat and talked back and forth.
Yes.
You've ever been on radio like the radio slash?
Not like that. Not with someone like that.
No. Johnny Rooster is definitely a unique individual.
He's fun.
He is a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun with him here, and he's got a passion for sharing the Lord with people in unorthodox ways.
Yes.
Did he make you a cartoon character yet?
He has not.
He probably will.
Hasn't.
Yeah, he made they're basically caricature puppet type deal.
He showed me one of his family.
They're so awesome.
There's probably one of you now.
Yeah, he's probably got one of you.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
That's fun.
I mean, he freaked me out. I'm sitting there doing something to either the camera that's out in the foyer or something. I can't remember what I was doing. And he peeked around the corner of the door with his puppet, his caricature, and just like looking at it. And it creeped me out for a second because I just see in my peripheral vision a creepy little head sticking out around the side. So it was pretty funny. Now you and Jay were talking before the show.
Yeah.
Kind of about what you do. So explain a little bit about what so what is your main purpose with the Rainbow Network?
Sure. So as the executive director, I'm overseeing our entire operations here in the U.S. as well as Nicaragua. So what we do is fundraise in the U.S. so that we can provide opportunities through healthcare, nutrition, education, economic development, and housing in 166 rural Nicaraguan communities.
Oh, wow.
So all of that is done with the intention of sharing the love of Jesus Christ through that work and walking people through their struggles and providing opportunities for them to lift themselves up.
That aligns so well with what we do here at Acts.
You should
what we want to do.
hear what they do. It's so amazing.
Because so we have a saying here at Acts. Our motto, we have 3 of them. Unity in Christ through the Holy Spirit, doing the right thing, and serving where needed. That is what we're all about here at Acts. So that aligns perfectly with what we're talking about. So anyways, what were you saying, Jay?
Well, you were telling me about how they do something like a Habitat for Humanity. So the people in Nicaragua get an opportunity where the materials to build a house are provided, and they build the house.
Correct.
Their community builds the house.
Correct.
They actually, their community doesn't just build the house. they build a bunch of houses, a
Yes.
community of their own.
Yes, we usually build about 25 at a time, and
Yeah.
those families that are going to receive those houses are chosen ahead of time, and so they have to have kids in the family so that it's a multi-generational change.
Right.
They have to be willing to work at least 2 days a week, and they have to be willing to pay back the cost of materials. And
Hi,
so
Jaden.
they work for about 6 to 7 months
Steve?
building those houses, and then at the end we have a lottery drawing.
Steve?
Because
You build 6 to 7 houses in
6 to 7
25
months.
6 to 7 months you build 25 houses.
Correct. And
Wow.
So
And they're all on one piece of land
all on one
together,
piece of
so
land.
there's a community there.
Are they
Correct.
little houses, like smaller houses?
They're about 20 feet by 20 feet.
like Habitat for Humanity, the smaller houses that they build.
What's
They're
this
actually
lottery?
nice little
So-
houses.
I'm sorry?
What's this lottery?
It's a lottery drawing because they go through that 6 to 7 months working side by side with their future neighbors, not knowing which house is theirs.
Oh,
and
right.
so at the end, we do
Nice.
some sort of a drawing, and they pick out which house is going to be theirs. And so you'll see anywhere from drawings from the kids from the community where they pull something back from the paper and reveal a number, or
Are you there in
One
person
time-
when they do that?
most times, yes.
That's
And what
awesome.
is that
Wow.
like?
It's so exciting because you see, you have people that have been praying for a stable home for 30 years and getting to see that come true, that answered prayer
Steve
right before their
Schultz.
eyes.
Steve Schultz wants to know, are you backed by a church?
We are backed by many churches, so we're non-denominational and work with anybody
You heard it
and
here
everybody.
first, Steve.
Yep.
So that's
So
awesome.
that sounds so exciting.
It
And
is
I
exciting.
imagine it's emotional
It is.
because I feel emotional just hearing about it.
It is, and one of the
Morning,
things
Gianna.
I love
Larry?
the fact that during those celebrations, there's always 1 or 2 houses that every family hopes that they get.
Right.
And no matter whether it's them or another family, everybody erupts and cheers when that house number is drawn. And so they're all very happy for each other, and it truly is a community-oriented project.
And then you said something about how, okay, so there's education.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do you get involved in that community you just built in the education type?
So we are already working in a community before we do the housing.
You said, no, I keep in mind,
Right.
ladies and gentlemen, they don't get an opportunity to go to high school,
Not for free.
not for free.
So
They have to pay for high
usually,
school.
Yeah.
usually elementary school is free, and there's many elementary schools throughout the rural areas even, but they still have to have supplies, and so we'll provide supplies for the primary students
The elementary.
to go through that schooling. Now, high schools are very far and few between, and so not only do they have a test fee or a cleaning fee or actual tuition at that school, but then they'll also have transportation expenses to get to that school. Some of our students
Which
are
is a long
traveling
way.
up to 30 kilometers just to get to the nearest high
30
school.
kilometers. How
And
many
so-
miles is that? That's like
Oh,
26
goodness.
miles or something like that, isn't it?
It's more than 20 miles, and so they will.
And they have
you
to
know,
like walk that, or
they would if it weren't for the help of a scholarship through Rainbow Network, or
Oh,
they just
wow.
wouldn't go.
Oh, so you provide the education through the scholarship.
With the primary students, we're providing reinforcement classes and materials. With the high schools, we're providing a scholarship. So people here in the States will provide $30 per month, and they get to partner with a specific student. And
So you're not involved in the school itself in the curriculum.
not in the classes, no.
Okay.
No, but we're giving them the opportunity and
To get
we're giving them, a stipend every month so that they can afford that transportation. We're providing
wow.
them with the school supplies so that they can go to their classes.
How is
Things
that,
like that.
related to the communities you build?
Oftentimes, if there's a high school age student in that housing project, then they will be provided with a scholarship.
But they don't have to be part of that community for you to provide scholarship?
No.
Or you just
No.
you just find children who
We find the people that need it the most.
oh wow,
Right.
So while we work in a community, by community I'm meaning anywhere from 300 up to almost 1,000 students or 1,000 people in one specific community, whereas a housing project is going to have closer to 300 or 400.
Right.
And so we're working with the big community.
How many
and the housing
scholarships a
project
year
is
do you
piece of
give
it.
to get kids to high school?
1,200.
1,200.
1,200 scholarships.
Wow.
Yes. So
Larry
we
Melton
have-
says he's working with Watanda Ronald
Jesus.
in
Wow.
Uganda, Africa, to build orphanages for 34 kids.
wonderful.
Okay. What about, you said also something about medical care.
We do. So we have 11 staff physicians that we have in Nicaragua.
they're all
They're
Nicaraguans?
all Nicaraguan. And
Where do they get their medical training?
Most of them have gotten it in Nicaragua.
So there's college there too.
There is. but it's oftentimes very expensive. And if you think about, so if you travel with a rural Nicaraguan family, they're oftentimes working in a field, making anywhere from $20 a month, maybe up to $100 a month if they're lucky. And so that's barely enough to cover food for their family, let alone send their kids to school. And so oftentimes, before Rainbow goes into a community, they're lucky to get through 6th grade, which is the end of primary school, let alone ever consider going to.
So, like, how many kids even get through elementary?
Not very many.
Really?
Because they don't value education. Because if you know you're going to be stuck working in a field, why would you worry about getting an education? Or if your family is suffering financially, they're going to pull you out of that classroom to go pick coffee or go pick peanuts or whatever it may be so that you can have an added income to that family. And so the opportunity for them to attend high school is very, very slim before the scholarships arrive to their community through Rainbow.
Yeah. That is amazing. And so these doctors don't just work in the community either that you build.
Nope.
They work in the whole country.
So we have, like I said, 166 rural communities, and so they show up to those communities at least twice a month, bringing with them medicines. And so oftentimes families have things that they maybe didn't even know wasn't a health risk or a health issue. Now they have a doctor in their own community that they can go to, and they're getting diagnosis. They're getting the medicines. They're getting things like that. And with everything that we do, it's always a hand up. And so nothing is for free. So we're asking them to pay usually between 50 cents and $1, but no one is turned away if they can't afford that.
Which is a ton of money there.
Right.
$20 a month for labor.
Right.
And you got to pay 50 cents to see a doctor. Boy, we think we have it bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. We are blessed.
We definitely are.
So it brings a whole new perspective to our lives.
I bought ice cream yesterday. Do you think do they have ice cream? Do they ever get to eat it?
Not very often.
Right.
Yeah, and you paid what, $5 for that? $4 or $5 for that?
It's $4. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, after taxes.
That's a lot of money.
That's at least 2 days' wages in Nicaragua.
So you're driven to help Nicaragua, and you're married to a man who's from Nicaragua.
I am.
Right?
Yes.
So I guess
putting you out on blast there.
Close connection there.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, if you wanted something to be withheld, you would have had to say it beforehand.
That's okay.
How is he involved?
So he was actually an interpreter. That's how we met.
Really?
And he was an interpreter in Nicaragua and worked with several of our groups. And now, Nicaraguans have a very strong sense of pride of being a Nicaraguan, and so he's very proud of what we're doing at Rainbow Network and loves any opportunity to jump on board with anything that's going on.
Is this a stressful job?
It can be.
Yeah.
You have so many people that are needing help, and you know that even while we see desperate poverty in the communities that we're already helping, we think about those communities that have no one like Rainbow Network still out there.
So what do you think, what proportion of the communities in Nicaragua are without you?
Most, in the 90 percentile. Like I said, we're working in 166 communities and 59,000 people, but nationwide there's between 5 and 6 million people.
So 50 cents. So somebody can donate.
Yes.
And that would pay for the medical?
Yes.
And pay for the schooling? And
yes. So if you go to our website, rainbownetwork.org, there's information about how each of our programs operate. There's information and impact stories of how someone has gone through that program or been impacted by that program, and then there's different ways for you to donate.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you get to know something about the people who are succeeding.
You do.
Right. And
Hi, Velma.
So what is the cost if somebody said, I want to sponsor
Cheryl.
I want to sponsor a child through high school and their medical?
$30 a month for the scholarship.
Really?
And
gets a child to school?
To school.
For high school?
For high school. Everything that they need.
How can they keep somebody in the elementary?
There really aren't a whole lot of costs associated with that. And so usually if people want to get involved at the primary school level, we usually ask for supply donations. So notebooks and
So
pens,
first,
pencils.
this needs to be something that works for all of their communities.
Correct. Yep. And one of the things that we've been doing, this is our
$30
25th year.
a month.
Correct.
For how long?
Their high school is 5 years.
For 5 years.
5 years.
So I'm not good at math. What's that?
$360 a year.
I gotta see.
I don't do math good. I don't do math good either.
$360 a year.
Uh-huh.
So $360 a year
Times
that, which is
4 years. Now, is it a regular? Is it? Oh, so their high
That's
school
less
is
than-
5 years
5 years.
that's less than. Well, that's car insurance for liability
for 6
only.
months.
Sure.
So let's see, 360 times 5.
That's a McDonald's drink a day.
Yeah. Oh
That's
man.
1,530.
McDonald's is not a sponsor.
That gets a child through 5 years of
High
school.
Yes.
Well, that is an incredible.
Well, and like I was telling you
opportunity.
earlier, without a high school diploma, people in Nicaragua can't work entry-level jobs that we would work as a high schooler here. So, cashiers, they have gas pump attendants, things like that. But if they have that high school diploma they're able to find a job like that, then they can, work during the week, and then they even have university opportunities on the weekends. And so we've seen many of our students that have graduated high school that go on to put themselves through the university and become a licensed professional.
Wow.
Just this year, we have about 180 students that are getting ready to graduate either at the end of this month or early December, because their year goes from February to December usually. And we're getting ready to graduate about 180 of those students.
Now, do those jobs that they're graduating high school to obtain provide enough income for them to change their family's
Yes.
life? You know,
Yes. So-
what's that called? Lifestyle or?
Absolutely. So if you think about harvest seasons here, it's only usually 3 months a year or something like that, and it's still very true in Nicaragua. So when, for instance, in coffee season is getting ready to start up for that harvest, and so that's a 3 month, exactly, drink that up and enjoy it. They have a 3 to 4 month harvest season for coffee, and so everybody in the family that's able to work goes out and works during those 3 to 4 months, and that's what they have to live off during the year.
But now, if one graduated high school and had a job at a convenience store,
They would have a monthly
they
income.
would stay. They would say,
Yes.
"No, you stay. You
Correct.
keep doing that. They
Correct.
will harvest."
Correct. And so much of what we do is just educating people on the importance of things. So, for instance, when we start in a community brand new, they don't really understand the importance of education, and so they may or may not have had people finish through the 6 years of primary school, let alone ever go to the high school. And so even then, they may have gone 1, 2, maybe 3 years, but never 5. So they never had a high school graduate in their community.
Wow.
And it's hard for them to understand the importance of pulling their child out of school.
What's the difference in income? So if I was a clerk there, how much would I make a month
It would probably be about $150 to $200 a month.
compared to 20?
Correct.
And what does college cost?
Depends on which school you go to, because they have private and public as well. And so the public schools usually give out a lot of scholarships, and so that's one of the things that we focus on, is trying to share the opportunities with our students so that they know what's out there and know how to apply so that they can get those scholarships for the university.
I'm blown away.
Completely different system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you must really pound the pavement getting people to come and give $30 a month,
do.
because $30 a month changes
We do.
a community.
So when I started on staff in 2012, we had about 500 sponsors, and we've doubled that since then. So in the last 8 years, we found at least 500 sponsors to sponsor these students. And so, the sky's the limit as far as we do. And like I said, we're always looking at those communities that have no support whatsoever. And that's what breaks our heart, is knowing that there's people that we can't help, but we are constrained by money.
Now, how are
as
those communities?
Every organization is.
You'd think they'd be nihilistic with no hope, but they're really unaware.
They're very unaware.
Yeah.
It's just a way of life.
Yeah, but I can imagine. So imagine somebody going to work to be a clerk, making the income enough income to match the rest of their families. That would be an encouragement for other students to do better in elementary
Exactly.
school.
So that's what we see, is once we get one family or one student to
In a
value
community.
that education and get through, once they become successful and find that job that's going to help their family change their life, then other people start to catch on, and it's just a snowball effect throughout the community. And so our hope is that over time, you know, we're committed to these communities for at least a generation. And so we're hoping that when we leave that community, that it's normal for people to go to high school because they value that and value that education, and strive to do anything that they can to get there.
Right. That is an incredible, incredible ministry.
It is.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you for what you do, and thank your husband and everybody else for us. On behalf of us.
Yeah.
Because we again, serving where needed, doing the right thing. That's what we're all about here. So Tanner.
What?
Yeah.
Hi.
What are you doing here? He sent a message. I was on my way. We were on our way here.
Yeah.
It's like 7:15. So, what would you think about me being on the show today?
Tanner Gibbs, ladies and gentlemen, he's back.
Well, I mean, I was down here.
Are you here for like Thanksgiving or something?
No, I wish I could convince some people that I should stay till Thanksgiving. But I am the only car that my mother and my sisters have right now, and so that'd be problematic.
Yeah, she was sitting out. She was actually. I would have been. That's why we were a little bit late, because your mom and your sisters were both sitting in the car, out in front of the building. Whenever I ran out to grab my drink.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And
I'm like, well, where's Tanner? I mean, your car is very noticeable. I mean,
is it that still that little gray?
No,
it's white with all the blue cubes all over it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
3-dimensional, which I mean, those are aftermarket. Right?
There's no hiding. Once somebody meets me and sees me in that car, they know who it is.
So you just drive through town with people honking everywhere.
That happens. Yeah, people that I know, they'll just pull beside me and they'll say, "Hey, what's up, man?"
Yeah.
Even if they don't even know who they.
Well,
know
if they're if they like math, you know, cubes. I mean, that's it. It looks like some nerdy mathematical design that's on there. It suits you.
Yeah, well, I suppose.
Nerd is no longer an insult. Nerd. We used to call it. It could go one of two ways. Whenever we were kids. Now, I'm 40 years old, and so this is probably before your time. I'm not gonna have you ask your age on the air or anything. But
so this Jordan says you were visiting her.
Jaden, yes.
So this wasn't about Thanksgiving?
Jaden?
No, it's my friend.
Jaden.
Yeah, my friend
Jaden?
Jaden.
Yeah, Jaden.
You met Jaden. She did a competition.
Jaden. Sounds familiar.
Yes. Yeah, I was down to hang out with my friend Jaden, and I went horseback riding for...
Did you go horseback riding?
Yeah.
Are those the boots?
No, these are boot shoes. Everybody thinks that these are... They're convincing shoes.
Those are booze. Those are booze. Those actually, I can tell they're not actual boots.
I know, but...
The laces give it away.
But
now, Jaden's tough. She's told me she's been beat up by some horses.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, anytime... Do you mess around with horses at all? You said
I've
you're a
gone
farm...
a couple times.
Oh, I thought you were a farm girl.
Horses.
No.
Was
that was one of his other guests.
Oh, that was his other guest. You're not a farm. You're not a farm.
I grew
girl.
up on a farm.
Oh, okay.
But we didn't have horses.
So we have horses. Jaden and her family, they've been on here before. They have horses, and you rode one for the first time?
Yeah.
How did it go?
Well, you see, getting on was problematic for me. See, I was ready to get on one, but whenever I got on...
They start moving.
I spooked the one that I was trying to get on the first time. That spooked me before I got on the other one.
Well, okay, yeah, and horses are very perceptive to someone's like anxiety. Mm-hmm. And so they can read your body language very well.
But my problem I wasn't afraid to ride the horse. I was
afraid
to get on the horse because I didn't want the horse to be spooked like the last one. So it took me like...
Okay, so you tried the first one. It spooked.
It
probably
moved
because
before I got off.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because what I did is I had a little hop instead of just putting my weight in and swinging over.
Oh, yeah.
And it freaked the horse out.
Oh, yeah. And so it moved away from you.
And
when
it
you were
moved away, and then it didn't want me to get back on.
Did your life flash before your eyes?
I was like,
you got to get back on the horse then.
Well,
what were you like?
No, but I got on a different one because that horse...
It sounds like he did.
Yeah.
Nah.
That horse apparently did not want me to ride.
Like and share these videos, people.
Yes.
We would really appreciate that. That is the best way that you can help us grow this Axe Television Network. What we're trying to do is provide Christian-friendly,
How
and
fast?
secular, clean secular programming, live 24 hours a day.
Yeah,
we're
Jay,
getting there. We've got quite a bit of live production every day, and we thank you very much for watching. And if this is important to you, it is important to us. Please go
Jody
to
Meyer says,
axmediagroup.com.
Jay, you beat Jaden Laborde's dad in a sandwich contest.
Yes, I did.
And it took Jim Whining a long time to
so go to
axmediagroup.com.
You can donate from there. You can also pay for a link.
It took him about 30 minutes to get on the horse.
Oh
laugh out loud.
Who said that?
That would be Jaden who said that.
You're getting involved in politics, I heard.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's the story, isn't it?
Do you and Jaden talk politics?
No, not really.
No.
I have a lot of things to say.
Your grandma's watching.
About government and politics, mostly because whenever I was young, I ended up getting into this bad habit of watching political pundits. And then over the past few years, I just realized there's not a lot of very good people in government.
Jaden said the first one he just didn't get on. The second one we rode for maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So you weren't going to try and get on that horse because you were already spooked. Probably. Do you think maybe you were more spooked than the horse was? Because, my horse, when you get on him, he wants to go. And he's like 30 years old, but he still wants to go. But it's hard to hold him back.
See, I got on the other one. I got on the other horse, and it let me get on, but it didn't listen to me once I was on it.
Well, that's because you were nervous, and it could tell.
I wasn't nervous to ride. I wasn't nervous riding.
It's not, it's not the riding that scares me. It's always the possibility of falling off.
But I wasn't afraid of that. But because, my balance is fine. But and it wasn't doing anything other than it would go a little faster than I told it to, and so I would pull back on the rein, and sometimes it wouldn't listen even whenever I would pull back on the rein.
It's like, well, that's a horse of a different color.
I know. Well, see it, and then it just started going different directions, even though I wasn't telling it because it didn't want to listen.
Jaden says yes, he was. I don't remember what that comment's about.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure, yep.
Don't worry. Hey, I was 30. I was 32 when I started riding horses again after being off of horses for 15, 20 years. And I was scared to death. You always got to have a little bit of respectful fear for horses because they are 2,000-pound animals that if they decide they don't want you on them, they are going to throw you off. Yeah. It is not a pretty sight. So we went, okay, now you'll love this. We went to this horse guy, the guy that we bought a bunch of horses from, and every horse he has is just as gentle as can be. Well, there was this horse, beautiful big paint, black and white paint, and it was beautiful. He said this has been a stud horse for the last 15 years. He got gelded, a little over a year ago, and I'm like, and this horse is gentle. It's like, yeah. So got on him, rode him around a bit, and he seemed a little bit lethargic, and so we get him home. We let him out, and I'm brushing him, getting ready to introduce him to the other horses. And the other horses are, mind you, these are geldings, males as well. And this horse went crazy. Apparently, the medication that he was on had wore off.
So he was on a tranquilizer?
Yes, he had to
gentle.
be. He had
right
to be.
Now.
Yes, he had to be. So we called him out, paid $1,000 for this horse. And then we called the guy back, and we were like, look, if we can catch this horse and get him in the thing, we're taking him back. It took us 2 hours just to get him loaded in the trailer.
Whoa.
Yeah. What we ended up having to do was backing up to one of the big cattle gates and having the trailer open. We backed up to it and then pulled the horse up, and instead of letting him back out, we just slowly closed the gate behind him, and that makes like a makeshift loading chute. And we finally got him up there, took him back, and he had this little mare, and I love this horse still to this day, but I don't have her anymore. She was probably about 5 or 6 years old, gentle in the eyes, still a little bit spry, a little Tennessee Walker named Rosie, and I think they tried to call her Ruby, but she responded to Rosie. Someone had just rode her or just messed around with her or whatever, and I'm like, let me give this a try, because at the time I was 320 pounds. 330 pounds. I didn't want to hurt the horse. You got to think about that. And so I got on her, rode around in circles. Jay's heard this story a bunch of times. Rode around the pen in circles, and then I got off of her. I'm like, I kind of like that horse. Bear in mind, I'm freaking out because it's been a while since I've ridden. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to get thrown off. 320 pounds hitting the dirt from 6 feet up in the air is it's going to hurt. So I get off of her, and I reached under to pat her on the side of the head. Be like, oh, because she was a good girl. She laid her head on my shoulder and closed her eyes while I was petting her. I'm like, oh, you're going home with me. So we paid for her. We brought her home, and the first trail that we rode was a place called Barquet, and they had not kept up their trails that year. So we are all saddled up and everything, and apparently this was her first trail ride as well. So we had this understanding, her and I. We're like, okay, I'll take care of you, you take care of me, right? Mom, she's on her horse, and she starts apparently just riding towards the woods. And I look down, and there's a little bitty path down there. So I'm like, okay, so I guess we're going in here. And it's like an up rocks and stuff for about a mile. And it was scary. It was scary. And I had not, bear in mind, I had not ridden in like 15 years. So we got up, we rode about, I don't know, probably about 10, 15 miles that day. I was more worried about coming back and going down the hill. We stopped halfway through to readjust my stirrups because if they're not adjusted right, you'll be hurting really bad, more so than normal. And on the way down, she did so good. We had a great conversation back and forth. I'm like, okay, if there was a place that she wasn't too sure about, she would turn around and look at me. And if I'd say, it's okay, go ahead, she would decide that it was okay. But she would greet me every morning. I'm reminiscing here because I miss this horse so much. Every morning I get off work, she'd see my truck coming down the road, and she would meet me at the corner right by where I parked my truck. She didn't want grain. She just wanted to say hi. I'd go out there, and she'd come up and lay her head on my shoulder. Oh, my goodness. I miss this horse so much. But anyways, where was I going with this?
I don't know.
You were just talking about horses.
Just talking about horses.
You were trying to encourage him to try again.
Oh, yeah. Of course I'm going to try it.
Sometimes, every time. But they can be an amazing experience to develop a relationship with a horse.
I want to get better at horseback riding, and I do want to connect with a horse and to be...
It's hard to find a horse that connects with you. Like, I've had a lot of horses in my day, or I've been around a lot of horses, and never had I become so connected with an animal, besides a dog, of course, as I did this horse. I mean, her and I, at the time I was going through a messy divorce, so whenever she come up, and I was like, yeah, this is all the lady I need right here,
So are you? So you've been working in politics?
Oh, that's an abrupt change of subject. Speaking of horses,
the election.
Yeah.
You worked in this last election.
Yes, I did. It was a local. It was a local.
Morning, Scott.
It was a state representative.
So I voted, and I went, and there was these little scribble boxes.
Yep.
You scribble in the little.
Yep.
The bubble. The bubble.
Yeah, the bubble scribble. So your candidate was in one of those.
Not in yours.
Not in mine.
No,
right, because you're not in my district. Right.
Different district, but anybody who was within the district, which I'm not going to give the area, but
in this presidential election,
yes, then they would have seen the candidate that I helped, and I helped two candidates, but I
drove all the way out there and voted.
But I primarily helped one. That's a joke.
I did the same thing. They asked me to come to Michigan and vote there. So
really?
No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
That's a joke.
I was going to say the Biden campaign asked me. No, I'm not going to get
So did both of your candidates win?
Yeah.
That was supposed
I
to be
don't know about the other one.
It's a joke, folks.
I don't know about the other one. I know about the one that I primarily worked. He won, and he's a Republican.
Congratulations to the winners of all the elections.
So he won with 66% of the vote in a 62% Democrat area.
Doesn't change
and
who we are
as a Republican.
People. Wow.
And so, yeah, he's a really good guy. He represents everybody in his district. Obviously, he's conservative.
Are you interested in a career in politics, or are you going to be?
Are you going to run for president someday?
What are you going to do?
See,
now?
well, I want. Well, I mean, this thing about I'm talking with some people
Past
that I
a
know.
president
There's
sounds pretty
actually
good.
people that I know that do both ministry and politics, but that's a full-time job. I mean, both of those are jobs that they're like it's part-time, but they're both full-time, even though they're part-time
What
jobs.
are you talking about?
Like
What?
you were talking about. How
It is
yours
a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
This
You're
is
not-
a lifestyle for us, you know.
Yeah, ministry is never not a lifestyle. It's a lot of work for little pay.
You're not on the 9 to 5 when you're trying to meet people's needs and take care of people. You know that's
You're on the 5 to 5
around the clock.
or the 9
Yeah.
to 9.
Well, because you
To
always
9.
have people that you have to answer. You always have people that you need to talk to. Something always that you have to do. You get phone calls about stuff. So, as far as politics is concerned, there's a lot of different jobs that go in it, and they're so much more interconnected than what I even realized.
in election politics.
Now that is a seasonal job, right?
Oh, yes, election is seasonal. So here's.
Are you going to work for them off season?
I don't know. There's no jobs open for that. See, if I wanted to do something that involved an election, or if I wanted to do a political job outside of the time of elections, I would have to find some sort of job working for the government right now. As of which, at the moment, I don't have any experience with that, but I do have connections.
How close did you get to the politician that you were working for?
Oh, I rode in his car.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, we've gone to the same church for a while, so I know the guy pretty well. Yeah, I mean, he actually gets down. He does the same work. He doesn't ask us to do anything that he himself isn't going to do.
So you're a young man right now. You're working a job, right?
Yeah. Well,
otherwise?
that was my last job, and I'm having to find another job while that one's happening. And I actually had a job offered to me by somebody, which is weird. I've never had just somebody walk up to me and say, "Hey, do you want this job?" Anyways,
What kind of job?
just unloading stuff. They just
Heavy
need
work.
Yeah, right.
Well, you can handle it.
I can handle it, and I
But
mean,
you may not want it, right?
yeah, but here
That's with your knees,
I
not with
might
your back.
get a connection with
We're honoring on this
freelancing.
show.
With freelancing, which ultimately isn't the job that I want to do, but freelancing, you make your own schedule. You
Freelancing in what?
well, freelancing is just writing or programming.
Becky
Those
Green.
two are the ones that I would focus on. So writing and programming, because you get paid a lot just for small projects and those things, and you make your own schedule. So if you know how to budget, okay.
Writing and programming.
So writing. So like you know how you go to websites and you see the fill-in stuff.
Articles.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you have articles, and then you have blogs that have a lot of fill-in stuff that are like introductions, or you see like writing for like sponsors, stuff like that. That's just people get paid to do that. Because a lot of the people that are making the blogs, they don't have time to fill out everything, so they'll pay somebody else to help them fill it out. I myself am too cheap to do that, but I'm willing to do the work to get paid for it.
Yeah.
And programming, which is, I mean, it's fairly easy to learn programming languages, and I have an eye for design already, so that's the stuff that I'm looking into doing.
That's what you want to do.
That's what I want to do temporarily so that I can focus on getting more experience in government and in ministry. At the end of the day, my end goal is to do ministry and something with the liberal arts and be more of a cultural influence and a spiritual influence.
So Jody said we had Tanner building fence and stalls last week. His condition if he wanted to hang out with Jaden Laborde. So they blackmailed you. That's actually extortion.
Extorted.
Actually, it's extortion. It may not be illegal extortion, but it's still extortion nonetheless. Bribery. No, that's bribery. Well, bribery and extortion are one and the same.
No.
Oh, it's okay. It was worth it. I had a good time. It's a lot more fun. It's a lot more fun whenever you're doing work with somebody, because I know that that's happened to me before. To where
Did you
like,
guys sing while you worked?
I don't recall. I know that there was like we had music playing.
They play music together too. They sing.
Jaden was one of the artists who came to our Axe Fest.
Okay.
And performed in two of the events. One was the
talent.
Talent.
It was music.
Talent, and then the Christian music
Competition.
Competition.
Which I'm gonna throw you out.
And he is a songwriter.
And well, he wasn't gonna do a song. He was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna do that this morning. I'm not as prepared as I."
He wrote this song, "Slow Down."
Then he meets Jaden.
Yeah.
And then Jaden's like, "Well, why aren't you doing a song today?" And next thing you know, long story short, he was doing a song today.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then I did another song. I did 2 competitions. I was not going to do 2. I wasn't even prepared to do 1.
Yeah, unloading trucks is called lumping.
Jaden says that I beat her stepdad in the sandwich competition.
No, actually, everybody says that because you've got a certificate, probably that's still here, that says
But she didn't vote for me.
Springburg Sandwich.
So this
Saint
year,
competition.
this year, I'm hunting for her vote.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
You got to make a really good sandwich. I went.
It was a
Hey,
really
I've
good
got
sandwich.
it. I've got this.
I
My
went-
brother is sponsoring my sandwich.
Is he?
Whatever it takes to win this competition. So I'm going
We're
to be
serious about our sandwich competitions
can
here.
tell.
Whenever I was
Do you
hungry.
make any special sandwiches?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't.
I made a grilled cheese sandwich, right, with strawberry jam and
was good.
Asiago
very good.
on sourdough.
Sounds
Whoa.
delicious.
Weird.
No, it was. I could
heard,
only eat. I had
but-
just started my health plan that I'm on, so I could only eat like a little square like that. But I could eat.
That's a taunt at that point.
No, I had to try it. I never.
It was delicious.
It just, I went
It
there.
really
I had
was
already
good.
bought a bunch of stuff for a really good Italian sandwich that I was going to make.
Yeah.
But last sec, after I already paid for a bunch of stuff. I'm like, wait, no, I'm going to, and I actually got the idea from your mom. She actually gave me the idea and said, you should try something like that. So I did.
Weird.
No, it's not weird.
Unique.
There's actually,
Well, it's not insulting.
if I had put ham on it, it would have been called a Monte Cristo. That's what that
I couldn't
professional
even tell
chef.
you what I made. I can't even tell anybody.
You made a little
Secret
little,
recipe?
little Italian sandwiches,
An Italian sandwich, yeah.
but you used actual like real Italian cheeses and
yeah, and prosciutto and
Yeah.
was there ham?
yeah.
I can't remember.
The,
what
you were the only one I heard that chef say
Go
those
figure.
look amazing.
Yeah,
And then he wanted to
and
put it
mustard.
on his menu. Remember?
Yeah, I think he did, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't know if they're even still up. And
Go
running.
figure. The East
That's
Coaster
impressive.
comes up with the Italian sandwich, eh?
No surprise there.
Yeah.
So you know how
What are you
important
talking about?
sandwiches are up in the Northeast?
He's better
Yeah.
at baked beans. He's better at baked beans.
Sandwiches and
He's
donuts,
from,
bro.
He's from
Wow.
Massachusetts.
You can win an election with sandwiches and donuts.
Haha.
You could.
You just run on that.
That's all you talk about is sandwiches and donuts, and everybody will love you and vote for you.
Yeah.
It'll be like 100%.
Just make sure that you
Maybe
have
99.
a free donut program
Yeah.
for those people who can't afford donuts.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
and
I
coffee
think every American
with cream
should
and
have
sugar.
The
coffee
biggest.
and donuts, regardless of their position in life.
Well, you see, well, I mean, like,
My Obama
I
impersonation.
unfortunately, I would actually agree with the coffee part. I don't know about the donuts, but
The donuts are so the mom and pop shops that do sandwiches and donuts up there. You take a bite and you go, oh, because you're already buying something. So you would buy a sandwich or a donut
It
that you
becomes
already
a
know
taste
you
of home
like.
instantaneously in your mind. Do you have any places like that you go to?
Don't.
Like a hometown sandwich place that just really takes you back if you try something?
No.
No?
These are
No.
people who love what they do,
Yeah, like I used
and when they make a sandwich or a donut,
delicious.
it is like
It is delicious.
they live for that bite when you go, oh, that is amazing.
Larry says they need
And
to
then
see
you
us do another
remember-
cooking show, Jay.
For the rest of your life,
Mm-hmm.
that bite.
We did a cooking show too early in the morning.
You guys should do a cooking
cook
show, but you have I
eggs
can't
in a
say that. That's
basket. Have you ever had
sponsored.
eggs in a
Sorry.
basket?
Are you competing in the sandwich competition?
No,
this year?
I don't have.
Bring it, man.
You butter the bread,
Bring
you
it.
cut a hole
Came
in
up
it,
with a recipe. I
and you
own
put it in a
spread.
skillet,
Peanut
let it
butter and
cook,
jelly.
crack
I'll
an
vote
egg
for
in the
you.
middle, make it over easy, eggs in a basket. That's so
I've had
awesome.
'em. It's good
I can't.
and easy to make.
I'm not gonna compete this year in anything because I can't eat what I prepare.
Compete.
You can't.
So-
I bet we're running out of time, aren't we?
We are almost. We
1
got
minute.
30 seconds.
Wow, holy cow!
What a
So-
great show! Thank you for coming.
To
in.
recap,
I
everybody,
appreciate
we
What's
got
that? Well, how can people donate?
RainbowNetwork.org. And I will say,
RainbowNetwork.org.
through the end of the year, we have a $1 for $1 matching fund
ooh
for
dollar
general
for dollar
donations.
match, folks.
Wow.
So for $30 a month, ladies and gentlemen, you for $30 a month for 5 years, you can get 2 students,
One.
1 student.
One.
One student.
Well, because of the matching.
It's for general donations.
For general donation,
that's for
okay.
general.
So you can put a student
Hey, Jesse
through
Rowland.
5 years of high school
Correct.
and change the lives of their family and be an example to the community
Yes, it is,
and
Johnny.
help bring Nicaragua
I invited her on to our show.
out of poverty.
Yep.
Is that right?
Deal with it. Anyways, Johnny Rooster said, "Is this a Rainbow Network Part 2?" Yes, it is a Rainbow Network Part 2.
RainbowNetwork.org. O-R-G.
Jody says, "We call that the crow's nest."
And you were going to say, Matt, you were going to close this out.
Anyways, to recap the day, to recap the show, Megan Herrera, Executive Director, RainbowNetwork.org, helping Nicaraguans with housing and schooling and other things. Many more
of
things.
Life.
So show your appreciation for what they do by going to the RainbowNetwork.org and maybe giving a little bit. It doesn't cost very much for us, but it means the world to them.
Yeah.
So, and then Tanner, thank you for being on today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And Megan, I know it was short notice, but man, you showed up.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
It's good to be. You're welcome on here
Thank you,
anytime.
guys.
So, and then Jay, of course, you're always here with me.
I love you all.
We do. We love you guys
Thank
very
you
much.
for listening. Thank you for watching. Share these videos, please.
We always gotta go out with music as well. All right. Unscripted. Now tomorrow we'll talk about how we destroy and he rebuilds. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining us on the Morning Drive today. We'll be back on tomorrow, same time, same channel. Be sure and tune in next for a classic episode from the archives. So until then, my friends, God bless you and keep you. We love you. My name is Matt.
My name is Jay.
My name is Megan.
My name is Tanner.
And this has been
The Morning Drive.